This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water.
You know, I worked at Biscayne National Park for 29 years, 36 years with the Park Service, and I got to meet people every day from all over the world. And as soon as this one guy walked in, I was sure he was Brazilian. I had kind of made it a hobby to try and figure out where people were from before they told me. And when the guy spoke to me, my confidence that he was Brazilian increased up to about, 80%. And the fact that he had great English, but I could tell from that accent, the kind of lilting sound that native speakers of Portuguese have. Also, he was wearing a suit and tie, whereas most visitors to Biscayne National Park are in shorts and flip-flops. He was there for a citizenship ceremony. And I had pushed for many years to have a citizenship ceremony at the park. Most people that become citizens of the U.S. do so in a courtroom or a nondescript office building in West Kendall or something like that. But the idea of becoming a citizen in a place that you now own was really appealing to me. And whenever we have these ceremonies, I always love looking around, and there's so much excitement and so much laughter and snapping of pictures, and people are dressed to the nines, either in red, white, and blue or their home country's colors. And there's also a lot of trepidation, and I often think to myself, what would it be if I were to absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty? I'm a native U.S. citizen, and I had to look up some of those words that are part of the oath of citizenship. And while I'm thinking about all of this, my attention is drawn away by a little boy in a lime green polo shirt, and he's running around the visitor center being chased by an older woman who I assume is his grandmother. And I realized I'd been neglecting my rangerly duties, so I asked her if I could help her with anything. And in a very strong southern accent, she said, no, I'm here for the citizenship ceremony. And I thought to myself, wow, I was sure she was American, 90% anyway. At every ceremony, one person is chosen to lead the rest of the group in the Pledge of Allegiance. And at this particular ceremony, it was the Brazilian guy. I was right, by the way. And he did a great job. And the next time I saw him, he was out on the front porch of the visitor center, which overlooks Biscayne Bay. And the water was sparkling, the sky was blue, a few puffy clouds. We had red, white, and blue bunting. It was a perfect setting. And he was standing there with his arm around a woman with long blonde hair with a very strong southern accent. And in his arms was a little boy with a lime green polo shirt. And in front of them was another little tyke with his shirt half untucked the way little boys do, waving a tiny American flag. And they were having their picture taken by that older woman I had seen earlier, who was looking proudly at her daughter and son-in-law and grandkids. And when they leaned in for a kiss, 3 rangers watching went tight-lipped, and at least one of them felt his eyes well up. And as I headed out to the parking lot a little bit later, there was one thing I was absolutely sure of. They were American, 100%.
This land was made for you and me.
Gary Brennan and Grant Livingston here live in the studio. Together, they're going to be at the Biscayne National Park Visitor Center next Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. That's a free performance?
It is. It is.
And there's s'mores.
And there will be s'mores. Bring your lawn chairs. We'll have a campfire. We'll have telescopes out, and all made possible by the Alliance for South Florida's National Parks.
Well, and that was such a touching story, Gary. I'm sure that's real. All your stories come from when you worked as a park ranger?
Yeah, we do tell some stories that are other people's stories still, but the ones that are the most heartfelt really are the ones from our own experiences, yeah.
You said you tell these stories on tours. Do you tell many stories around the campfire?
We did in Yosemite, which was amazing.
That was an amazing
Yeah.
experience.
How many people were at this campfire?
About 100, maybe. About
Yeah.
100, yeah.
Were there other performers, or were you the?
No.
We were at.
You were at?
And it was
Yeah.
totally unplugged, and there was no sound amplification, nothing, and we could just talk at a normal voice in the forest, and everyone heard everything, and it was so special.